Hello everyone, welcome back to PackToSleeve. My name is Justin, and Core Set 2021 has officially dropped. Pre-release was this last Friday, and the actual release of the set is coming up here in a week. But I was able to get my first box in, and of course we have the Rin and Seri inseparable Dog Cat Lord, or Dog Cat Commander, which was the buy box. I really like that they went with the extended art form of this. I think that was a great call by Wizards. But for 1 and Naya is a 4/4 dog cat. Whenever you cast a dog spell, create a 1/1 green cat creature token. Whenever you cast a cat spell, create a 1/1 white dog creature token. And then for 1 red, white, and green, you can tap it, and Rin and Seri inseparable deals damage to any target equal to the number of dogs you control, and you gain life equal to the number of cats you control. I know a lot of people are excited about brewing a commander deck around this, so if that is you, I would love to hear how you're doing it, and if you're doing kind of a split of the two, or more cat heavy or more dog heavy. But let's go ahead and open up and see how we do. Now this one, obviously, unlike Ikoria, does not have the box topper, so we'll have to hope for really good pulls and not get bailed out by the box toppers. But that's okay. Looks like, once again, we got the Japanese print run. You can usually tell because the packs are looser and they have the nice tab here. But let's go ahead and open. I'm going to focus on the, like with every other box, the rares, mythics, showcase cards, and foils. And we'll go through the commons and uncommons rather quickly. Alright, starting off with a showcase swamp here. And our first rare is the Temple of Mystery. Enters tapped, and when it does, you can scry 1, and Temple of Mystery taps for a green or a blue. Always a solid role player in decks. Sees a lot of play in Commander and in Standard predominantly. There are some decks that want those in Modern and Pioneer, but not nearly as many. Alright, and we've got Transmogrify. For 3 and 1 red, for a sorcery, exile target creature. That creature's controller reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal a creature card. That player puts that card onto the battlefield and shuffles the rest into their library. So a similar effect to Luca. Cultivate, a great reprint there. Radiant Fountain, another good reprint that I think we'll see some good play, especially if a life gain deck is able to work. Alright, we got our first foil rare. It is See-Through Truth. For 1 and a blue, as a sorcery, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of those cards into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. If this spell was cast from anywhere other than your hand, put all those cards into your hand instead. And Idol of Endurance. For 1 white and 2, for an artifact, when it enters the battlefield, exile all creature cards with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard until Idol of Endurance leaves the field. And for 1 white and 1, you can tap it until the end of your turn. You may cast a creature spell from among the cards exiled with Idol of Endurance without paying its mana cost. Interesting card. We'll see if it sees some play. Selfless Savior, Indulgent Patrician. Village Rites, another really good one. I think we'll see a lot of play. Alright. Yeah, there's some pretty solid uncommons that will, I think, or commons and uncommons that will help some decks. Rugged Highland, and Liliana's Standard Bearer. For 2 and a black, for a 3/1 zombie knight with flash. When it enters the battlefield, draw X cards, where X is the number of creatures that died under your control this turn. Really good way to help rebuild from a sweeper in black. Probably be competing with Midnight Reaper at the moment, but definitely could see some play. Alright, we got another showcase card, Chandra's Magmut. Ooh, and we got the Mountain. I think that one will look really good in foil because of the border here at the bottom. And our rare is the Hooded Blightfang for 2 and 1 black for a 1/4 snake with Death Touch. When a creature you control with Death Touch attacks, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Whenever a creature you control with Death Touch deals damage to a Planeswalker, destroy that Planeswalker. Ooh, a double rare pack. All right. It is the Scavenging Ooze Showcase card for... Man, that looks great. For 1 and a green, for a 2/2 Ooze, you can pay 1 green to exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature, you put a +1/+1 counter on the Ooze, and you gain a life. That is fantastic. Fierce Empath, that'll go good in my Rurik Thar Commander deck that I just built, which we'll probably try and do a short deck tech on that in a week or so. Or in a couple weeks, I guess, after I get a chance to play it a little bit. We got the Beast Token, Windscar Crag, and Pack Leader, the Dog Lord. So for 1 and a white, for a 2/2 dog, other dogs you control get +1/+1. And whenever it attacks, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn to dogs you control. Very interesting text that could make Pack Leader very good. So we'll see if it sees some play or if there's enough dog support. I know that Wizards has errated a bunch of dogs to now, or a bunch of hounds, to now be dogs. All right. And sweet, even better, Fierce Empath Foil. That will go right into my commander deck. Chandra's Incinerator for 5 and 1 red for a 6/6 elemental. This creature costs X less to cast, where X is the total number of non-combat damage dealt to your opponents this turn. It has trample, and whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, Chandra's Incinerator deals that much damage to target creature or planeswalker that opponent controls. Kind of turning Chandra's Incinerator into its own Searing Blaze. I know a lot of people are exploring whether this card will see play in Burn in either Pioneer or Modern, and I'll be really curious as well because I play Burn in Modern currently. Grasp of Darkness, another really good reprint premier removal spell. And we got another showcase card, Garrick's Gorehorn. It's kind of a big dumb green creature, which I love. So, all right, and we got, hey, our first mythic is Grim Tutor, which is a really good reprint. Card that was only been printed once in a very small supplementary set, so good to see it get reprint. We'll see if it's good enough for play in any of the constructed formats, but either way, Commander players will enjoy being able to pick this one up. So for 1 and 2 black, for sorcery, search your library for a card, put that card into your hand, and shuffle your library, and lose 3 life. Really good way to start off our mythics there. Foil Dismal Backwater, and Necromentia. For 1 and 2 black, for a sorcery, choose a card name other than basic land type, or basic land card name. Search the opponent's graveyard, hand, and library for any cards with that name and exile them. That player shuffles their library, then creates a 2/2 black zombie creature token for each card exiled from their hand that way. So one of the better effects of that card. And Sporeweb Weaver for 2 and a green for a 1/4 spider with reach and hexproof from blue. When it is dealt damage, you gain 1 life and create a 1/1 green sapperling creature token. I think this will be really good in sideboards versus red decks, or even possibly Burn in some of the older formats. Just constantly be gaining life and blocking down their creatures. Hexproof from blue is interesting, but we'll see. But I still think the card's very good. Here we go. Conspicuous Snoop for 2 red for a 2/2 Goblin Rogue. Play with the top card of your library revealed. You may cast Goblin spells from the top of your library. As long as the top card of your library is a Goblin card, Conspicuous Snoop has all activated abilities of that card. I know people are trying to figure out the right list for Goblins in both Legacy and in Modern right now. to combo with Snoop, especially with Kiki Jiki, and there's a black uncommon, I believe, from one of the Lorwyn block sets. Kitesail Freebirder, great reprint as well. Sees play in the various human decks in older formats. Alright, Shacklegeist. Alright, this was my pre-release promo. For 1 and a blue for a 2/2 spirit with flying, Shacklegeist can only block creatures with flying, and tap 2 untap spirits you control, tap target creature you don't control. Like I said, I think that'll see play in Pioneer primarily. We got Basri's Solidarity showcase card there. But back to the Shacklegeist, I'm not sure if it's good enough to see play in another one, Teferi's Protege. I'm not sure if it's good enough to see play in Modern, because I think these creature slots are pretty full. But in Pioneer, I think it'll see some play. Another showcase card, the Plains. And here we go, Azusa Lost But Seeking. Fantastic reprint for Modern and Commander specifically. For 2 and a green, for a 1/2 legendary human monk, you can play 2 additional lands on each turn. Doesn't seem all that powerful on the surface, but goes great in decks like Amulet Titan and any green ramp deck in Commander, I would imagine. But works so great in Modern because of the bounce spells, or the bounce lands. Alright, there we go. We got the Forest Showcase card, and Animal Sanctuary is a land. You can tap it for colorless, or you can spend 2 and tap it to put a 1/1 counter on target bird, cat, dog, goat, ox, or snake. Another Grasp of Darkness there. Always good to see copies of that. Losing my voice a little bit here. And foil Kinetic Augur. And our rare is a Demonic Embrace. Is that our second one? No. Open that in a different thing. Sorry. For 1 and 2 black for an enchantment aura. Enchanted creature gets +3/+1 and has flying and is a demon in addition to its other types. You may cast Demonic Embrace from your graveyard by paying 3 life and discarding a card in addition to paying its other costs. The Sanctum, or the Shrines there. Alright, Chandra's Pyroling. See if anybody is trying to build the Shrines deck. If you are, leave a note in the comments and let me know what the list looks like, because I would love to see it. I know people are also looking at it for Historic on Arena and in, I guess it would be Modern because it was printed in the Kamigawa block. Alright, second Mythic is Garrick Unleashed. Finally see our mono green Garrick back. So for 2 and 2 green for a 4 loyalty Garrick Planeswalker, +1 is up to 1 target creature gets +3/+3 and gains trample till the end of turn. Excuse me a second. -2 is create a 3/3 green beast creature token. Then if an opponent controls more creatures than you, put a loyalty counter on Garrick. And -7, you gain an emblem with, at the beginning of your end step, you may search your library for a creature card, put it onto the battlefield, and shuffle your library. Very, very powerful effect there. Being able to just put a creature onto the battlefield consistently. Alright, we got a foil Twin Blade Assassins and a Temple of Epiphany. It is the Izzet Temple. To enters tapped, you can scry 1 and you can tap it for blue and red. Tormod's Crypt is another fantastic reprint. Hopefully that card will help put maybe Uro back in its place a little bit. Joriel Muvali Recluse for 1 and a green for a 1/2 human druid. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 2/2 green cat creature token. And for 4 and 2 green at the end of turn, creatures you until the end of turn, creatures you control have base power and toughness XX, where X is the number of cards in your hand. Interesting card. Goes with the the Simic theme in draft of the draw more cards. Another See-Through Truth. I'm already up to 3 of these. We looked at this one earlier because it was our foil rare. All right. And Sanctum of Stonefangs. Rousing Reed. I really like that card, especially in sealed or draft. It just does a lot of work. Woohoo! Here we go. What a hit. It is the showcase version, I believe. Yeah, showcase version of Aegon the Spirit Dragon. For 8 mana, for a 7 loyalty legendary planeswalker Aegon, its +2 it deals 3 damage to any target. You can -X and exile each permanent with converted mana cost X or less. That is 1 or more colors. And -10, you gain 7 life, draw 7 cards, then put up to 7 permanents from your hand onto the battlefield. Aegon reprint was a surprise to a lot of people, including myself, but I'm really happy to have it, to be able to open it, and the showcase looks great. Not showcase. Yeah, the showcase, not the full art one. Yeah. There is way too many different types of cards in this set. It's throwing me off a little bit, but that's okay. All right, we got a foil Teferi's Protege, and our rare is Thieves Guild Enforcer for 1 black for a 1/1 with human rogue with flash. When Thieves Guild Enforcer or another rogue enters a battlefield under your control, each opponent mills 2 cards. We actually see Wizards making mill an actual keyword now. As long as your opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, Thieves Guild Enforcer is +2/+1 and has Death Touch. It's a very interesting card. Oh, Waker Waves, love that card. Oh, here we go. Conclave Mentor. I'm just going to talk about this one for a second because it is the Selesnya version of Winding Constrictor. So I'll be interested to see if it sees some play. And we got another Liliana's Steward. All right. And we got another mythic is the Baneslayer Angel. Another good reprint. Sees play in mostly sideboards in older formats at this point. But for 3 and 2 white for a 5/5 angel with flying, first strike, lifelink, protection from demons and from dragons. Riddle Form reprint from Amonkhet or Hour of Devastation, but really good in that spells list in sealed or draft. And we got Double Vision for 3 and 2 red for an enchantment. Whenever you cast your first instant or sorcery each turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. All right, and the Red Sanctum there. Eliminate, another really good black removal spell. Able to deal with both creatures and planeswalkers as long as they're 3 CMC or less. I think that is one of the current F&M promos in the Core 21 packs. And we got a foil Trackdown, interesting green card. And Speaker of Heavens, the life gain card. So for 1 white, for a 1/1 human cleric with vigilance and lifelink, and you can tap it to create a 4/4 white angel token with flying, but you can only activate this ability if you have at least 7 more life than your starting life total, and only at times you could cast a sorcery. And the Showcase Island and Foil Skeleton Archer, and our rare is the Sanctum of All for Wooburg for a legendary enchantment shrine. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may search your library or graveyard for a shrine card and put it onto the battlefield. If you search your library this way, shuffle it. If an ability of another shrine you control triggers while you control 6 or more shrines, that ability triggers an additional time. So you have to have, if you're in standard, you have to have all 5 of the monocolored shrines as well as this one. Or if you're trying to build the 11 shrine deck in older formats, you can do that because the shrines are legendary. Cultivate. Hopefully we can hit the alt art Cultivate because that card looks great as well. And we got 9 lives. Really cool artwork. I think each of the cats on here is a reference to another Magic card. I'm not sure what they all are, but I'm sure someone does. So if you want to leave a note in the comments if you know what all the different cats are referencing there. So for 1 and 2 white, it is an enchantment with Hexproof. If a source would deal damage to you, prevent that damage and put an incarnation counter on 9 lives. When there are 9 or more incarnation counters on 9 lives, exile it. When it leaves the battlefield, you lose the game. So I know some people are talking about that with Solemnity, so you can't gain counters to be able to constantly be able to avoid damage. Be an interesting one. All right, Scavenging Ooze, always a good one to open. We opened the showcase one earlier, but Scavenging Ooze is always a great hit and a great reprint. Another way of helping to control the graveyard a little bit, particularly Uro and Kroxa and some of the other escape cards. And we got a foil, here we go, foil showcase card, Chandra's Magmut. And we got a Basri's Lieutenant. And for 3 and 1 white for a 3/4 human knight with vigilance and protection for multicolored. When it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature you control. When the lieutenant or another creature you control dies, if it has a 1/1 counter on it, create a 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance. So able to survive and rebuild after sweepers and leaves behind a relevant, here we go, the Gorehorn, second one of those. Leaves behind a relevant creature type because there are Night Lords. And our second foil rare of the box is Transmogrify, which we also hit earlier. Doing its sorcery imitation of Luca's ability. And we got Sublime Epiphany for 4 and 2 blue for an instant. And you can choose one or more of these modes. Counter target spell, counter target activator to triggered ability, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, create a token that is a copy of target creature you control, and target player draws a card. So, modal spell there on steroids. And Showcase Swamp, and the Brash Taunter for 4 and 1 red for a 1/1 goblin with indestructible. When it is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target opponent. And for 2 and a red, you can tap it to have it fight another target creature. This card would be interesting if you figure out ways of bulking it up. Teferi's Tutelage Enchantment Showcase card. I think it'd be a really cheesy deck, but it'd be a lot of fun to play as like a Boggles version of Brash Taunter. All right, we've got the Cat Lord, Feline Sovereign for 2 and a green for a 2/3 cat. Other cats you control get +1/+1 and have protection from dogs. Whenever one or more cats you control is deals combat damage to a player, destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment that player controls. I think that'll see a good amount of play in the cat tribal decks in Commander. We'll see if it's good enough for some of the other. I know cat tribal has been bouncing around in both Modern and Pioneer as like a tier 2 list. All right, and we've got a foil Wishcoin Crab and the Ghostly Pilferer for 1 and a blue for a 2/1 Spirit Rogue. Whenever a Ghostly Pilferer becomes untapped, you may pay 2. If you do, draw a card. Whenever an opponent casts a spell from anywhere other than their hand, draw a card and discard a card, and it can't be blocked this turn. Interesting card, a lot of modes. So I'm very curious to see if that one is good enough to see play. There's a decent amount of rogues in the format now, so definitely could. All right, Gath Rock, the Crown Scourged for 2 and a red for a 5/4 legendary creature dragon with flying. Can't attack unless you control 4 or more artifacts. And at the beginning of your end step, create a treasure token for each non-token creature that died this turn. And Basri's Alkalite showcase card there. All right, we got 3 more to go. Hopefully we can hit 1 more mythic. And we got the Boros Temple. enters the Temple of Triumph, enters the battlefield tapped. You scry 1, and it can tap for red or white. Ooh, Unleashed Fury is an interesting one. Doubles the power of target creature until the end of turn as an instant. You can just completely destroy someone out of nowhere with that. Especially in these aggro lists. Oh, that's a cool token, the weird. I'd love to see that in foil. And we got Peer into the Abyss. Really creepy looking artwork. But for 4 and 3 black for a sorcery, target player draws cards equal to half of the number of cards in their library and loses half their life. Round up each time. And final pack. And our fifth mythic. Yep, it is Mangar the Diplomat for 3 and 1 white for a 2/4 legendary creature human cleric with lifelink. Whenever an opponent attacks with creatures, if 2 or more of those creatures are attacking you and or planeswalkers you control, draw a card. Whenever an opponent casts their second spell each turn, draw a card. I think this card will be fantastic in white commander decks. I'm not sure if it'll be good enough to be the commander or maybe just part of the 99, but we'll see if it's good enough to play in other decks in standard or not. But that is our first box of Core 21. Looks like I am all tapped out for now. Have a great day.